Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and today we're going to be using this Flow Easy drain opener. I have a clogged drain. It's still draining but very slow, and that's very important with this stuff to remember. If the drain is completely plugged, you don't want to be pouring this or it'll just spill all over the surface. Now you have acid eating your floor, eating your tub, eating everything. So you want to make sure that it's at least draining enough that you can pour this in there, and I'll show you in the video. We're best off pulling as much hair and everything out that you can first before using this so that it's easier for this to work. Okay, now this is a corrosive. It's very dangerous and toxic. You want to be wearing gloves the entire time, and rinse with water if you get any of it on you for 5 minutes, cold water. Okay, and I'll leave it to you to read warnings and everything like that. I'm just going to give you the basic overview of how I kind of do this. And so just keep in mind with this chemical, you do not want to mix it with other chemicals like bleach or anything that can cause a vaporous, dangerous cloud that you're breathing. And even just pouring this on the hairs, you'll see in the video, you'll get a little cloud coming out. So you do not want to breathe that. Be very careful, wear eye protection, and make sure there's no children around as you're doing this. So we're going to go ahead and I'll just show you the method that I use to unclog the drains. And this is just normal household stuff, you know, nothing industrial. So anyway, we'll get with the video. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started here. It's very tempting just to dump a bunch of the drain cleaner into it, but there's a better way of doing it if you ask me, or at least the process. So what you're going to need is a screwdriver and a bag. So you'll come to your drain, and these come apart in different ways. This one's pretty simple. You just take off the top, and then you take a screwdriver and unscrew it here, and that will remove the actual drain part of it. And you want the plug out of the way as much as you can, because the acid can score and damage the aluminum finish. And so anyway, you can see down in here there's a bunch of hair. Now you wouldn't have seen this if you just tried dumping it in here, and in my opinion your best bet is to try to dig and fish out as much of this as you can, because all the acid is really doing is trying to eat it away and break it down enough to where it's not clogging as much, and then it can be flushed down. But with how long hair is and everything, it can get tangled pretty good, so the acid might break it down a little bit, but you're going to have better success if you try to pull out as much of it as you can and put it in the bag, and then continue the process. So I'll skip forward here a few minutes, but just to show you, you want to pull out as much of this as you can out from the top first, so you're not trying to get the whole clump going down the drain. Now it goes down this way, so the more you can pull out, okay, the way that we're pulling this out is from down here out, getting it come back up out. Okay, so this is acidic, so you don't want to be peeling this with your fingers. Take a knife and just cut down into it. It's hard plastic on the top, and then basically you're going to see on here on the side, for example, this is a small drain, so what it wants is 20 ounces of this stuff. Let it sit for 15 minutes, and then you're going to rinse it for 5 minutes with cold water after that. So make sure it doesn't splash, and then watch that. You really want it to watch that finish so that it's not ruining any of the nickel plating or anything like that. If you can pour it in, if you get some on there, rinse it. Okay, you don't want it to ruin that. But basically, it's going to be eating that stuff. So don't breathe it, because you'll automatically hear it eating the hair and everything. You can see the smoke coming off of it, so you do not want to breathe it. So dump it in and vacate the room. So while this is sitting for 15 minutes, I'm going to take a little bit outside and show you here in the dirt. This is what it does to the hair. So basically it's just acid, and acid will eat the hair. So you'll see it foam and just start just killing it. So you want to be careful, because you're piping and everything should be able to withstand the acid for a short amount of time, but you know, the less amount the better. It's going to foam up, and you can imagine if this was still inside the drain, it wouldn't be spreading, it'd just be eating that hair. But even with that, you can tell that the hair is still pretty thick. It's still a glob. It's not like it's going to dissolve it entirely, and that's what you're, in essence, flushing down the rest of your drain. So like I said, the more of this that you can pull out in the first place, the better that it's going to be. Next, we went through and rinsed it, and so it wants you to rinse it for about 5 minutes with cold water. And what I'll even do at this point is pour water down it from a jug, or even put the drain plug back on temporarily, just to let the bathtub kind of fill up with water so it gets a nice constant flow of water rinsing it. So we're going to do this. I also poured some into the shower, and so I'm going to be doing the same thing. But basically, I'm just going to let the tub fill up a little bit here, then I'm going to pop it and let it all start draining through, and that should give us our 5 minutes of straight cold water on it. So again, here's the shower. Since it doesn't bottleneck as easily, I filled up this pitcher of water, and I'm just dumping it straight on it to help flush it through. And so now as you pop the drain here, you can see it definitely drains a lot better, and it's draining like it should. So be very careful. Here's the stainless steel blade that we used to open up that stuff. You can see that it scored it, and so you don't want that happening to your finish. Always wear gloves during this process, of course. Now that we're done rinsing it, I have my gloves off, but whenever you're handling that acid, you want to be very careful because it will burn you. So thanks for watching, and please just make sure that you're very safe using rubber gloves, eye protection, and any other thing that you want to. Just be safe that this acid doesn't eat your skin or do you any harm. Thanks for watching.